Okay, I'm going to quickly just run through a few things with Excel, and then you can kind of play around. There's a link that can bring you through a tutorial, and then there's a handout as well that can help you. And I really want you to practice doing some of this on your own. I don't want to walk you through every single step, because then it's just robotic and it's not really you getting practice thinking using technology. So Microsoft Excel functions very much like Word. It looks a lot like Word. So the file up here, you can go new, so you can open a new page. Recent, you can print from here. Save and send, you can save as. So there's all kinds of things that you can do from that file menu up there. And then this whole font area is the same as in Word. You can change that around. Alignment is the same. If you want to merge cells together, you can click on merge. If you want to take it over to the left or over to the right a little bit, merge it to the center, you can use that part. Different styles here, formatting, and a lot of this you won't be using for this simple assignment. It's a lot more advanced. And to be real honest, you have to use this to be able to remember it. So we're just having you do it once and play with it. If you don't use it in your everyday work, you're not going to remember it. And I actually have to go back to the drawing board because I don't use it much in my work. And so, but it just, again, adds another competency to your tool belt that you have played with to give you a little more confidence with technology. So there's that piece. You can go over here and insert. So if you want to insert a row, if you're typing along and you are like, oh no, I need another row. So you can always insert a cell, insert a row, insert a column by clicking on that. Or again, you can delete a cell or delete a column. If you're looking for something, just like in Word, you can click on Find and you can type something in, and then you can always replace as well. So let's say you put ones and you wanted a 2 instead. So you could say find 1, replace, so you could do find 1, replace with 2. So you can always, that's another thing that you can do in Word as well. If you spelled something wrong, or if you want to replace a name with another name, you can always find and replace. So that's a little extra thing to talk about. This number area, this is all for different formatting. So you can actually click on more accounting formats. So you can do accounting, general, number, currency, all kinds of ways that you can format the cells. If you want percentages in your cells, if you want dates and times, there's all kinds of different ways that you can format that. Okay, moving right along here. We have an insert menu then if you're going across the top. This is, you can insert a table, a picture, clip art, a line. You can put a chart in there or a pie chart. So you can do all kinds of things. You can also insert a hyperlink. So if you want somebody to be able to click on something and go out to the internet, you can insert that as well. And then you can do a header and footer. And as you can see here, I've made a header called Jones Excel Competency. So you can click on header, and then you can change that if you want. And then you can always go back to view and normal view, and it'll get you back to where you were before. So we can go back to normal view or page layout. And the page layout I find probably easiest. So we're on the insert. So those are all the things for insert. And like I said, there's thousands of things that you can do with Excel that for the purposes of this, that actually I don't even know because I haven't used it like some people do. My niece uses it at work because she does all kinds of numbers and spreadsheets, and so she's just a total whiz at it. And so you would be too, and some of you might use this in your work life, and you might be really, really good at it. So good for you. You can be super users and show everybody. Page layout is the next area, and again, you can do margin changes. You can do orientation. So if you want to do a landscape, some people want to do landscape versus a portrait. So then you can see here it's spread out in the landscape. You can size it, the print area, you can do a background on it. And so there's all those kind of things as well. Mostly what we'll use is if you want to make it landscape, which might be a little bit easier for the competency, then you can just click on that. There's a formula menu then. Many formulas available in this menu. The recently used is very handy for the few that you use frequently. So if you use certain formulas very often, then you might go to that more recently used, and then you can pull up the things that you have done. Like here is, so there's sum and average and hyperlink and count. So the recently used or the more frequently used will pop up then in that section. The view menu, so if we go back so there's the formula, the data, the review menu. Useful for changing from one view to another, adding grid lines, zooming in, so you can do all kinds of things. You can protect your sheet, you can share your workbook, and so that's kind of the review. And then the view link, you can do that as well. So you can go in and add. I've got grid lines here, I've got formula bar showing, the headings, so you can do kind of however you want it. You can do a page break view, some custom views if you want, and you can add things in there. Normal view, which won't show you your header, and then page layout, you'll be able to see what the whole page looks like. So vocabulary, the blank file in Excel is called a book or a workbook, and the Excel file has an extension .xls, while Word documents have .doc or docx, and so those things will all be part of the vocabulary. If we have positional issues, so letters of the alphabet are used to identify the columns, as you can see up here, A, B, C, D, E across the top, and numbers are used to identify the rows. So right here, that this little row that I have, or this little cell, is actually named A1. So right in here, that's named, that's a A1. And so that's what that column, that little single square or cell is called. So there's a box that tells you the name of the active cell. So again, A1, and you see that up here. So I don't have to name it down here because you can see it right up here. And that's the cell that is active at the time. So single square or cell is labeled that. And Excel workbooks have multiple pages or sheets. You're not going to need to know that either, but down here you can go from page to page, and a lot of people keep track of spreadsheets and bills and all kinds of things. They'll have sheet number 1 be personal bills, and they'll have work bills, and they'll have all kinds of different ways of keeping track. So that's another one, and the default name is sheet 1, 2, or 3, and you can actually right click on it and rename, and so then you can say Excel competency or whatever you want to name it. I always tell people, if you're going to have a bunch of sheets down here, don't name them too long of names, because you want them to be short, so you can fit a bunch of them on there. So these can be named by double clicking or right clicking and entering a new name in there. So then we want to create simple formulas with Excel. You want to enter a few numbers in a column. So if we practice, we can do 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Oh, I got some money up there. Oh, see that this one is actually it's actually set so that it's formatted for money. So you can see here. So we want it to be a number. So we want it to be set for a number. 5, 6, etc., etc. I don't know why it's doing that. Format cells. We want it to be general. So that one was formatted differently for some reason. 7, 8, etc. So we've got all those numbers, and here you can actually go and move it over to the side if you want. There you go. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of numbers here. So we've got 8, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so suppose we want to add them. So we can enter the equal sign into the cell where you want the calculation to be done. So we can do that. And so we put an equal sign there into the cell where you want it, and then the menu recently used formula will appear if you use the arrow beside the sum. So so up here, here's we want the sum, so we want it to be the equal number here, and then it will say sum, and we can drop it down, and so you have A1 through A7, and that's what it's doing, and then it'll give you 35. It just didn't take it the first time for some reason, but you put the equal in, and then you can see sum up here, and then it will equal and add it up for you. So you want to select sum. If the range of the cells is correct, press OK. Like I said, it was A1 through A7, and that's what I wanted, and then it added them together for me. So then what you want to do is you can add these all together like this, and we'll say sum. Oops, that 2 wants to go. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, then we could repeat it in another column if we wanted to. So we want a 4 and a 3 or a 6 and a 9 and a 2. You can just keep adding numbers. So we can repeat it on another one, and you can enter the formula all over again. So we can just do an equal again, and we'll get the sum up here. And then we'll make sure that we have the sum, and then we'll say C1 to C7, that's correct, and it gives you 37. So you can continue to do that, and then so up here where it says sum, C1 to C7, so here's C1 to C7, and it gives you 37. So you can keep on doing those over and over if you want, and then you know, you can, and I'll show you what on our INO sheet as well, what we can do. But you can see every time you put an equal in, then you want to go up and see what it is that they're looking for. So if you wanted to add this plus this, and you wanted the answer, the sum to be over here in D, then you do that, and then you drop to your sum, and you want your sum. And so what you write in here then is you want to do C, let's see, A5 and C5. So it's A5 and C5. That gives us 10. So that's all I'm going to do for now, and then you guys can work on your competency. But I just wanted to show you some of the quick things that we can do in a cell. And oftentimes you'll want to have this top cell be, so you want to say maybe oral intake, and then you want this one to be IV. So you want to keep this top one separate so that you know, whatever you want your column to say. And then a lot of times down here on this side, you'd have your times. So there's lots of different ways to set it up. There's no correct way. You can set it up with time across the top, or you can do time across down the side. However you want to set up your cell. You can make it colorful. You can change the so we can change the color so that it's colored. You can put oral intake in red and IV in blue, or however you want to do it. So have at it and have fun.